was an inside joke in that in the back lounge room is about danishes with Morton. So I you know I had two danishes delivered to Robert, via three or four people that couldn't couldn't you couldn't have contact with anybody because nobody wanted the tour to end because somebody got COVID. And
now these Danes that you put in there, were they? I take it they were hot looking women.
What? No, they were Danish. They were Danishes. I mean, pastry.
Oh, pastries. Oh, damn! I thought there was hot looking women.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Well, who is the one who sent me the story about the?
Right. It was perfect for you. That was the perfect thing. I knew
the Tour de France, right? So, did you do the research? Do you have any copies of the bras or anything? What's going on?
No.
What's the story? The Tour de France?
You go ahead and read it. I sent you the article.
Right, here we go. The Tour de France. Femmes 2026. Official Czech riders clothing concern about padded bras. What the hell? What's going on?
Evidently, there is a controversy in the women's Tour de France to where the riders are getting a 0.7 second per stage advantage by padding their bras in a certain way to gain an aerodynamic advantage.
What they won't do today to win the Tour de France. Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, I think they have an advantage over men because I know when I ride a bike, it's tough on the family jewels.
Yeah. But so now there's this new rule, and there's all sorts of controversy in Europe about it. They have to go into a tent and have their bras checked before they go, 10 minutes before they go to the starting line.
Mm-hmm. I guess that was a job that was, in demand, hard to get. Hard to get job,
But I said that, and I said, this is a story that Jan would love.
Well, you're 100% correct. Jan really got a chuckle out of that story. It's amazing what people will do to, shave a second off, or two or whatever, But hey, speaking of shaving seconds off, welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends. This is our 323rd consecutive episode. And of course, just like when they started mixing from under the stage during COVID, that's when we started. Only we were never, how should we put it? We were never under the stage. We were always above the stage, so here we are.
We were in our homes.
Yes, that's right. We were in our homes. But then the remote mixing came in. So a lot of people were mixing, a lot of churches were mixing multiple rooms, remotely as well. And I'm sure it's still going on.
All right. Well, this platform... I'm sorry. Go ahead, Denis. I don't want to interrupt.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted. But if they're starting to put people mixing underneath the stage, people are going to start be mixing at home. This is going to start to happen.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that, I think, is because if they start mixing from home, I think that the people who are getting paid will not get paid as much. The engineers won't get paid as much. So that's a challenge.
I don't know.
No, John. I don't know, John. It's what's going to happen is, okay, you know what? Let's have Bob Clearmountain mix this tour now. And let's have, CLA mix,
right.
It's going to be the same thing as mobiles.
Right.
What's going to be the difference? So it's going to be.
Look at the broadcast world, Denis.
Exactly. Exactly.
That all the Olympics, the Winter Olympics in the United States, all the audio was captured by OBS, but the NBC coverage was mixed in Stamford, Connecticut.
Exactly.
And
so,
yeah,
I think that what's going to happen is your PA engineer is going to be somehow having the responsibility to make sure that the PA is tuned whatever is the tuning that the guy who's mixing wants, and which is the reality right now. And instead of mixing underneath the stage, you're going to be mixing at home.
But I don't think it's going to take. I don't think it's going to take. I think it's going to take much longer for that transition. You know, I mean, Ariana Grande is a unique situation to where you have kids yelling and screaming. I could see bands like BTS doing it, but I can't see somebody like
Diana Krall or
or you name your country band or even Kenny, or somebody like Kenny Chesney. No, they're going to be out front.
What about a symphony? I don't think a symphony will allow it either.
Well, symphonies usually, unless they're outdoors, symphonies indoors are really amplified. If you're in an orchestral hall, it's the hall that's doing it. If
but
microphones are they're for recording primarily.
So in the 90s,
sorry, go ahead, Bruce.
In the 90s, I did a bunch of I don't know if you guys remember what the Century Plaza Hotel looked like before they tore it apart and made it a big black hole like every other big black shoebox hole. But the Century Plaza Ballroom, had an Austrian and a turntable and different levels, and it was very cool. And I used to do a bunch of fundraisers in there. And, every seat, of course, is worth X amount of dollars. So what they would do is, I'd have their house console, which was an 852, up in the booth with a window closed, and I would have a pair of monitors on my meter bridge, and I would time and I'd EQ my monitors and then time them to the PA. So when the window was open, I wouldn't get any big time differential because I was up in the back up in the like the projection booth with all my front of house gear, and I was about 130 feet from the stage. And what I used to do is my systems engineer would wear a wireless comm, and his channel 2 was my channel 2. And our channel 1s was, the guy calling the show. And I would actually, mix in the booth with a band on the stage and everything, and a lectern and, everything, wireless mics. And he would just walk around with an iPad and call the mix to me, on channel 2 of my comm. He'd say like, oh, there's a little too much hi-hat, or, this guy's talking too soft and we're close to the edge. And I could, because I had monitors up in the booth, I mean, I could pretty much tell what was going on. But he was my ears on the floor, and he would walk around with the iPad and a wireless comm and talk to me. So if there was anything that really needed to get fixed, he could tell me. But other than that, I was just mixing off my monitors, up in the booth.
Well, he was way ahead of his time, which reminds me, I forgot to say, everything you hear today is an opinion, so do your own research. There you go.
I hated doing that, and I told everybody to not tell anybody that I ever did that, because I did not want that to become the norm, because I just hated it. I didn't feel like I could hear what the hell was going on, and I couldn't hear the PA respond to the room at all, other than what was squirting out of my speakers. I know the mix sounded fine in my little hole up there, but I really had no clue how it sounded downstairs, because I had to go down 2 flights of stairs, and into the lobby and then into the ballroom to listen to the frickin' PA. It took me 5 minutes to get down there, so.
Well, there was I did, oh gosh, this was 1984. Todd Rundgren played the Ohio State Fair, and the place was completely sold out, on the dirt track. It was like, they had a mobile stage on the infield, and then they had the grandstand, and everybody was on the dirt, there. And so we really didn't want to run multi-cores, across all that. So I mixed from, in a trailer from behind the stage. Now, Tom Rundgren at that time was not a loud band, so it was easy. And I just had same thing, Bruce. I had a guy, I have Bobby, one of my guys, he went out front and said, Yeah, yeah. You need to, a little bit more, add a little bit more low end and a little bit more kick, and
Mhm.
and that was it. And it turned out
Well,
great.
hey, Kurt's mixing from his warehouse right now. Josh is
Oh,
mixing from his car. I
I'm
mean, amazing.
I'm
I
waiting.
mean, he.
I'm waiting for a chance to mix from a van down by the river.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to mix from the van down.
yeah. And Ken Porter's mixing from his kitchen. So there you go.
He's straight
You're
back.
muted.
Ken Porter is straight back from London. He just got back from London, you know, and I'm sure his arms are tired from flying.
So I tell you what,
He's
go
muted.
ahead, Denise.
You're muted, Ken.
I'll tell you what
Oh, no,
I'll
it's
do.
just funny that Ken is muted.
I think I can unmute him from here. Let me see if I could do that. Got to find his name on the list. His name is hiding here. Oh, there he is. Unmute. There he
Okay.
is. I think he's unmuted. Good, Ken, try it now.
For some reason, it won't go full screen, and I don't have anything around here to do. I don't have all my pieces on that. Anyway, what we've done, what several of them have done too, is you do a mix in another room of the band and all that, and then you send it to, goes to the system, goes to the processor, but you have someone with the, system engineer with the iPad, and
Right.
basically has the lead vocal and a couple of background vocals, and that way you can set them into the mix on top of it.
Ah,
And they usually use,
and then he mixes the solos and the vocalist.
yep, make sure they're on top and can understand the words. And a lot of times the person will also have left and right from front of house or
Masters.
somewhere there to be able to give a reference in there, can use that also
Right.
if he needs it.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's a lot more gear too, and you got to have a good system guy.
Well, I just
Well-
did a band I'm working with. We did a rehearsal, and our rehearsal, what we did is it was a big shop, but separated by two buildings. And so what we did is we had the monitor engineer with the band in the one room. So he was in there with his board and mixing the band monitors and everything. And then we had the splitter snake and everything. And then we ran a cable to another room down the hall, and we set the front of house guy up, and there were just two monitor wedges. And then we had a camera with a screen so he could see what's going on, and he could dial his mix in before we got to the venue and get it set to what he wants. And then when we went to do the first show, we recalled the scene. He went in there, plugged it in, just tweaked the PA for what he wanted, and this way we were set ready to go.
Well,
and then that's rehearsal. And then there's a lot of times too where I'm doing a show and I'm like, I don't want to set my board up in front of house, especially if it's packed, if it's a smaller venue and it's packed. So I just set my board up on the stage, and I have my iPad and walk out in the back of the room, and I sit there with my iPad and mix. I mean, I'm doing that a lot more lately, a lot more often these days.
Well, there's some places you don't want to set up your board when it's right at the front edge of the balcony and there's a lot of beer being served. It's a rowdy crowd. You do not want to set your console there, because I've had so many consoles that have beer dumped in them.
Yeah.
I did one show at the Ice House in LA one time. It was a Toys for Tots thing with the fire department, and they asked us to come and put a PA in. So there's a little club, and I did 3 650s per side, and I had a PM5D at front of house. And where they had me set up, there was like a railing that went around the top, and people kept not putting their drinks on the railing and then knocking them into them.
Yeah.
And I actually had my A2 go next door. There was a CVS like next door, and he got me an umbrella. So he held it over my head at the console because people were spilling their drinks down into the front of house position onto the console, and I mixed the whole show under an umbrella. It was so funny.
I performed once. I performed twice at the Ice House myself. I did stand up at the Ice House.
Oh, we pounded that place. It's a comedy stage, and we did a full band on that stage and just pounded that room. But what a funny little room.
Coming back to Joshua's discussion, modern, most of our rehearsal halls now, I've got, prep spaces, whatever, that have, they're 50 by 70, but I have a room, there's a room, a lot of times I'll have like the new ones at Rock Nashville, they have a 4 by 8, window, monitor mix or house mix in there, You can
Right.
also sometimes you got enough room in some of them to put, the lighting console with the previs setup
Hmm.
and a video server. So you put them in there and they can run the whole scene and it's tied in with the band when you're also syncing everything, particularly if you're running a
Yeah.
lot of code and link and everything. So that's
Mhm.
become standard nowadays of having
Yeah,
another
they just do it on their near field. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what we did.
Yeah.
Actually, we have our state fair starts tomorrow here in Wisconsin, and we have there's like I don't know how many stages down there, but they have like a little amphitheater stage, and they have for front of house and lighting world. They built like a little shed with a wall in the middle. So on the one side you put your front of house mixer with a window, and on the other side you have your lighting control console guy with his control, and then you're just mixing through a window. Obviously they have an in-house PA there and everything. So the in-house sound guy sits up in there, but they have a band that comes in and he wants his own mixing space. They'll either put him in their room, but a lot of guys will set up outside in front of the building there on the back of the state or on the back part of the venue in front of the front of house mixing station and mix. Because they don't want to sit in a little booth and mix. They want to be out in the crowd and mix and everything. They did it to keep it looking clean, but I don't think there's any band that's actually mixed from inside that building yet, other than the in-house PA people that are running it all week.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's got to be a challenge because you can't feel the audience when you're not in the presence of the audience. You can't feel the audience, and you can't tune to the audience, which
If
in
you
the
have
seems to
room.
me
got
something.
near fields with a subwoofer, you'll be fine. Local. And you just have you put up your audience mic. You could bring them up in your near fields.
Who would have thought I'd be the dinosaur in the room? Nobody would have ever guessed that.
Yeah.
No,
You know?
I'm happy. I'm happy mixing in the room. I still
Yeah.
like mix, but I am because I do all mostly Weekend Warrior stuff. But the iPad thing, you put your mixing console or your little rack on stage, away from the drinks. You got no impact to cables or stuff, and I think it's a wonderful thing that you can just get your.
It's a lot faster, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
I don't like doing that in a theater or something. I might have the iPad to walk around, but if I'm doing a
I
theater,
want
I like
daters.
the
Where
console.
were all you guys 25 years ago when Gamble said this is how it was all going to go, and everybody laughed at him?
Yeah.
It's funny.
That's
It's funny. We're the Museum of Holocaust Museum on Pico in LA. We're putting in their boardrooms. We're putting in a whole digital optical system, so one boardroom can overlap the other boardroom.
The last song.
And we're about to redo the theater. And in the theater, they have panels and they watch
the rap
movies. Somebody's got a mic on.
Yeah.
I got it close.
Okay.
Besides me. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a surround system replace the surround system for the movie theater, and then put two small line arrays, maybe the NTs or some A6s or something in there for, because I think the theater seats like 300 and it's really nice. It's got a nice rake. It's a very comfortable little theater. But their console, which is now an Allen and Heath SQ, which is just taxed to death, is up in this little enclosed booth with a window that does not open. So I'm going to put a DM7 up in the booth and a rack of 12 wireless mics with that will automatically change frequencies and stuff like that.
Well,
And
Bruce,
then
I'm
we're gonna
glad you
put
brought that up, what you said. I'm going to interrupt you because once you mentioned Allen and Heath, you reminded me that I didn't introduce it in the very beginning of the show, but Tom Durr from Allen and Heath will be in the room next week. We'll be advertising it. So
great.
you guys are listening. Know Tom Durr, bring your questions about Allen and Heath. He wants to talk about the whole line, nothing specific, but who knows where we'll go,
Yeah.
Denny, you had your hand up.
Oh, let me
Bruce finish and then go to Denny.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a switch. There's a spot downstairs where there's a little landing where a couple of times when they wanted to do panel sessions, I've taken a QL5 in there and just, dropped an 8-pair snake out of the booth and then sent it up there. And we're going to put a switch there so that I can jack into the Dante system with a QL5 if we need to. But, that's coming along. We just got the okay to spend the money for the theater. So anyway,
Very good.
so
Go ahead,
Denny, then Michael.
Well, actually, with Mr. Porter there, I was going to ask Mr. Porter Is the needle moving at all towards stage tech becoming an FOH situation, or is it going to remain the big houses, with the big budgets only?
It's coming. I just finished today updating. Let's see, I was working on putting the new rack on the System T. I got to get SSL to open something up on the System T so I can control. We did on a 225 today get the control of the box onto the surface so it can pop up and we can control the high pass filter and things like that on each channel from the console. So we're making progress toward it. The thing is that the advantage is that if you have an act that has to have splitter and stuff there, you're way ahead of the sound game.
Yeah.
If you come out Dante to one and you come out Matty to the other console or whatever, and you got 4 separate feeds you can put in there, and you can have one go straight to Pro Tools rig and do track, raw track harvesting too at the same time. So it's getting there. This might be
This is using the Axios, Kenny?
Yes.
So
yeah,
that was the one thing. It's interesting that you're moving towards that, Ken, because that was the one thing I if I was going to be using that, I mean, there's incredible advantages of it, but having a limit, a limiter on high pass filter and gain already there at the stage box, and not, I guess it's me being old school, but I want to have those on the desk,
Well, you have them on the desk too, depending on what desk you want. You can have them out on every desk.
Yeah.
It's just that you can high pass stuff that's on the feed there if you don't
Right.
want that taking up bandwidth or whatever.
Right.
But the most part, it's an option that can do it. But for at 164 dB of dynamic range,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
digital trim control,
great
you want to
advantage.
adjust anything on the desk. And most of the reason why is that you have that for the head in, you have that for the isolation, for how sound, not have to
Right.
deal with the sound of a pre, and then the rest of it comes to preference of what workflow do you weirdos want? Someone says, well, I've
Right.
always mixed on a Digico SD9 up to a 12 and a 10 and
Right.
or someone else, I want, Avid, whatever, this piece, or I want
Right.
the Waze console. So at the point of which do you, that's usually what the choice is always up to the house engineer, which one is he most comfortable on? And
Right.
you usually find that people start on one console and step up through the line because they don't want to, they're lazy. Front of house engineers are like pirates, they destroy, kill, and maim, and they're lazy.
Right. Right.
And half the time they're drunk.
And they want to take some booty with them. That's it, But there I go again. By the way,
point is
I
that they stay
go ahead.
loyal what they have, and they really don't want to spend the time and going to learning something else new if they don't have to.
And also, too, the production manager is always looking at the dollar value in it all.
Yeah. Well, Ken, first of all, Ken, I'm very much pro stage tech, but I think that you have to look at guys like Sully and Scoville are they're so in tune with their consoles. I don't think it's a matter of laziness. It's a matter of, and I've heard this dozens of times. What's your favorite console? It's the one I know best. And so
No, it's the
once you
one
know
that rinsed
once you
most.
know a system. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the one that rinsed most.
Yeah, for you. You see, for you, it's the one that rents most. But for the FOH guys, like, the Sully and Scovilles of this word, it's about the one that they feel most comfortable on and that they could move quickly on. Because muscle memory, I mean, like, I'm going to take time here to talk about the article that Dave, who was mixing James Taylor.
Dave Morgan.
We all know who, yeah,
Morgan.
Mr. Morgan. So I'm not sure if you remember this article. He had this article where he was deciding which way he's going to go. So Digico came up to him. They brought him into LA because he lives on the East Coast. And then he spent, like, I forget, 4 or 5 days with him. And then they shipped him a console at home. And he spent, I think, 2 weeks with his with his virtual sound check. And at this point, after three weeks, I think I'm comfortable to go out and mix the show now. Like, come on now. I mean, like most front of house guys that I know, whether it's Michael, whether it's Kurt, Bruce, we don't have 3 weeks. So I think that that's like the reality of those guys. And I'm fighting for them right now, though I agree that stage techs should be given a choice. But those guys, I mean, they want what they know best because their ass is on the line.
You know what, Dennis?
Go ahead.
When somebody hires me, they're paying me so much money to walk in the door and know what I'm doing. And I always tell people, if I'm going to do your show, you're getting me a Yamaha console. It's either going to be a CL5 or it's going to be a DM7, and it's going to be a Dante system with Rios down on the stage. And if you're not ready to get me that shit, I have no interest in doing your show because I can't perform the job that you're paying me to do on some console that I'm still trying to figure out while the walk-in's playing.
Well,
Yeah.
and the other thing too, I have
It's as
engineers.
simple as that.
I have engineers that will come in for like a week or two and just flip their console and just go, sit there and go over stuff, rearrange stuff, make sure they hit the changes. The other issue you have too is that remember you got two different engineers. You got a mix engineer and you got a programming engineer. And a lot of people program and hit go, go, go. And
Since when? I never have that luxury.
Well, it depends.
But when you get into the real world, then it'll happen.
Corporates are one-offs, and we walk in the door with a stick and we go. We don't even get rehearsals anymore.
Well, back in the day, I didn't get rehearsals. I mixed the Opry for years, and it was just like the curtain goes up and the band's playing, and they say who's on what mic, and you got 4 colored mics. You got red, green, blue there, and you're from there trying to find who. There's your numbers and go.
Mm-hmm.
I did a country music week once in my hometown, and I did 105 bands in 5 days, no sound check. Yep. So I had like what they call a festival patch. So 5 vocals across the front, 5 DIs across the front, 2 guitar amps on this side, 2 guitar amps on that side, 1 drum kit. I think we had a grand piano. And I think we had like some DIs for, the odd violin or whatever. And it was the stage manager. The stage manager would call out the lines to me as the band was getting on stage. And I was turning on channels as they're going in. Okay, he's plugging an acoustic here. I see him, he's plugging an acoustic there. And then, there you go. 3 songs, 4 song max, next.
How many steel lines did you have?
How many what?
How many steel guitar lines did you have?
Oh, I only had one steel guitar line.
Oh, you wimp!
But yeah, I know. But listen, it's still the thing though is these days doing that with digital, I don't know how I would be able to do that. I really don't know if I could do that.
Well,
I got one other question for you guys. Now, so you mentioned the familiarity of the console. It's always been my opinion that it's the show files on their memory stick. If you're a Digico, you have one show file that works with only Digico, and then you can't plug that into a Yamaha. You can't plug that into an S6L.
Correct.
So isn't that part of the deal?
I have people that come in and program files. If they have a Digico file and they got to do a one-off fly date with Yamaha, they'll come in and build their file in the Yamaha console to take it out.
Or they build it offline, yeah.
And sometimes if they know that coming and they got rehearsals, they'll take both consoles to rehearsals and build 2 files.
Right.
Right.
Michael.
And by the
what's
way, I want to thank Chris
Michael.
Stevens for coming in last week. He was amazing. If you haven't seen the show, that was just go to YouTube and type in 322 Chris Stevens, and you will find the show. If you haven't watched it, it's really, really impressive if you want to know about stage tech. Michael Frawley, you've had your hand up for such a long time. You got to jump in, because if you don't take the space, nobody will give it to you. Your hand in the air is nothing. You got to just get in there and give it to us. So give it to us.
No, I'm good with letting you guys run off at the mouth a little bit, except for Kenny trying to hurt my feelings over there. Damn it!
Damn that bastard! Unbelievable.
He's acting like us front of house engineers are like persnickety little girls or something.
Well, yeah, they're prima donnas standing in front of the house, the other in a snake, and say, "Do this, do that." You know, I can't bait a hook or do anything about my console tech.
With digital consoles, I've gotten to be more persnickety, that's for sure. Yeah. Analog, everything's laid out in front of you and you just turn knobs. But digital, you got to find shit.
I don't know, man. I've always approached it from, if I'm going to work, I've got a starting page that I've got made up for Yamaha, for Digico, for Allen and Heath, all on a stick ready to go. Especially if I don't know what I'm walking into. But that's just me trying
Which is great. No, that's cool.
Trying to be a useful tool,
Right.
See, I have the luxury of speccing the console, so I'm a Yamaha guy, and I don't really use anything else. So.
I did. David Dansky is an excellent example. He's a console hopper.
Yes.
I did quite a number of years doing console hopping. So you just have your little bag, with your eye locks, if you're doing any plugins or anything like that, and then okay, this is a QL today. Oh, this is an M32 today. Oh, this is a Wing today.
But I agree. Great starting points. And at the end of a show, you save, you put the date on, you put the name of the city, and that helps. But let's just say that, today I'm on a desk that I haven't used in 6 months. I pull out, I pop it in. That still does not tell you where's going to be that compressor threshold. Where's going to be the IPAS filter? That does not help you with that stuff. That just is a starting point.
Of the way. It gets you your patching. It gets you these are going into these groups. This is going into that matrix. Yeah. My effects are going to be here. So it saves you a ton of time setting it up. And so then you can pay your attention to your channels and to your and to the things that is different because of the room, because of the system, because the wonderful things we do.
A couple of times when I had to use a profile or a different console with a company that I was going to work for, many times I would fly out a day early and go into the shop and spend the day on the console, familiarizing myself with it before I got to the show. And I would basically, at that point, I'd know basically what the show was, and I would build a starting point into the console.
Yeah.
And then we take that console on the show, and at least I spent a day, screwing around with it before I got there. But very seldom do I walk into a space and get a console I've never used before. And boy, I'll tell you, I would hate that. Unless the house engineer was standing there next to me and I had a couple of days to, when we did the MMAs in the joint in Las Vegas, I walked into that place and I had never ran a S6L before. And luckily I had 3 days to get used to that console before we went into rehearsals, because the truck had to put all their cameras out and do all this hocus pocus. So I worked with the house engineer and he got me real familiar with it. And by the time I was done with that show, I loved that damn console, but I was not as good as he is. But
I mean, you guys have it easy. I worked with this sound engineer that was deaf, and he had it hard. I'll tell you, he had to mix by braille. It was, and he wasn't blind. That was the hard part about it.
Okay, I got one for you to add on to your funniness. Did you ever go to the drive-through ATM? You ever notice on the buttons there's braille?
Oh yeah, you've told us this before. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We didn't have to tell you. It's there. It's obvious. That's the only way I can find my information. That's it.
So they're driving cars and they're blind. That's just really interesting.
So, so the other one, back to the problems about walking up the shows, most of my guys all have the program because of band and repeat, where the problem used to come in is like profiles when they had their stick and they have all their keys, or I like for wave, and the production manager advanced, oh yeah, you got a profile. They walk in and it only has one DSP card and none of their waves will work if they would have enough DSP to drive their show.
See, that's where the old analog desk, you don't have to worry about it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
This is the main reason I rose my hand. Have you guys seen Wolf Audio's new 7.1 console?
Yes. I like that.
Hang on, what's the name?
Wolf Audio. Jen, you need to get him on.
Yeah, Paul Wolf. Yeah.
Tell us about it, Michael, and then we will.
Google it. You'll know. Or be online. This guy's really good.
You've got all the panning and the individual setup to do surround sound right there on the analog console.
Well, not surround. They're primarily, he doesn't make a live console per se, but they can be adapted. I think it would be a great challenge if somebody did that. Asked them to do that.
Well, and the way he builds it is phenomenal. He's got like double pots on everything, so if one the other one with it takes over.
And switching is patching is done via relays. Yeah, I mean it's really hot. I'd be interested to hear actually, Kurt, tell us about your explorations in the DCX land. Beyond, I think it's a disservice to have all those videos with the pinball game, sir.
Oh, that was my buddy.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can show you what we're doing.
So while he's walking,
we would love to see
Michael, is that a Navy SEAL emblem on your shirt?
No.
Oh, okay. Marine. It kind of looks like it from here. There's a Marine.
No, Michael's a Marine. Are you kidding? That those Navy boys just drove. They were like their chauffeurs to him.
Thank you.
These
Thank
are my
you
chauffeurs.
for your service. Thank you for your service.
Don't worry.
That's right.
Plenty of Marines became Navy SEAls, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Kurt, I want to see what you got, man. Show us what you got. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone. There you go. You're spotlighted for everybody.
Look at that. How sexy.
There's the
Whoa.
Whoa. Patch Bay from hell.
Not really, actually. It just
That's
makes
the
total
DCA.
sense.
That's the Gamble DCA, right?
DCX.
And so that's the front, your points and stuff, and then these are all your channels, and you have
that's beautiful.
You have 60 channels times 2. And then every channel, so you have 120 potential channels. Every channel has 2 mic inputs and 2 line inputs. And I'm booting up the console here, and I'll show you how you use it. But then you've got your mic and line ins, so you can scramble. You can like take a input and move it. You've got pre-EQ insert. You've got compressor side chain, gate side chain, post EQ insert, direct out, and gate key in on every channel. So there's a Gamble designed comp and gate on every channel already that's analog. This is 100% analog. Nothing ever leaves the analog domain. It's all digitally controlled there's a little computer here that interfaces with an external computer, which is stuff we'll probably replace. On the back, you've got input bay A.
Ramlat City.
Oh, yeah. But these aren't splitters, though.
Oh.
So you've got input A. It's like, here's the Rush console. So it's the same kind of thing where you've got the tie line and the links. And like when I'm using the one down in Band or any of them, I just ramlat straight into here. I don't use the fan out unless I have to. So it's the same thing. You can ramlat straight in and not have to patch all this stuff. Or you can use them at the same time. So you could have like 50 inputs that you're using here and do some stuff here. you've got your 24 outs per side. This is bank A, this is bank B. And then your tiles. Tie lines are here, just like they're here
Right.
on actual gamble. And so that's how
Right.
you get your sends and returns and stuff. So arguably this could sit on stage if you needed to. It communicates, it'll do 300 feet on Ethernet, 25 years before anybody else thought of that. And I'll just
Wow.
boot into the offline editor because it's just easier than I'd have to go in the other room and power this thing up. You have to have 2 dedicated 20 amp circuits.
Kurt, am I to assume that those 12 pots that I see is the EQ? Right above, right beside the mouse, on to the left of the, yeah, right there. That's the EQ, I'm assuming.
Here, it can be, yes. I'm not going to fire this up, but this will talk to it in a limited sense. You've also got compressor and gate. You've got pan. You've got faders that'll follow. And then, yeah, this is EQ. I'm just going to work offline, though, to show you. But it's the same thing.
I think your picture froze.
So there's...
Yeah, I think his picture froze too. I'll remove the spotlight.
Oh,
I think it came back. I think it came back. Let's go back. Let's go back to Washington. Kurt, take it away. All right, wait a second. Spotlight for everyone. There you are.
All right. So this is the software, which any of you Digico people will now understand where they got the look.
Right.
And so you can scroll back and forth. There's different Zoom windows. Like right now, we have this set up. This is an overview of the console. So if you click on the auxes, it'll take you to the auxes
Right.
over here. And so you have 16 stereo auxes that can be separated and could be 32 mono or any combination you want. And then you scroll down. That's there. Those are the auxes. And then you scroll down. You've got 4-band parametric with selectable high and low shelf or peak. You've got a little window display that shows what you're doing. Down below that, you've got a gate, and then you've got a gate EQ, which will allow you to tune its key to certain specific frequencies or frequency ranges. So you can ignore the snare if you're trying to work on the kick. Let's see.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then you've got a full compressor here.
All right.
And you can sidechain either one, and you can sidechain from one input to the other. You do it over here, though. You don't assign it, but on like the big analog surfaces, the EXs, that you have to really get your head involved to make something like that happen. Here's the thing where here's mic A, line A, and here's mic B and line B, and you got these little faders, and you can either save your snapshot or your preset so that you can sound check one band and use all A and sound check the other band and do all B, and then just when you recall the second preset, it goes to B. It auto saves every 3 minutes too, so you don't have to worry about losing your show. Yeah. You can also
We've lost this camera. We've lost this camera, but we can still hear him though. Now there it is. He's back now.
That's weird. You can use these simultaneously. So you could literally have 2 mic inputs or 2 line inputs or a mic and a line feeding the same check strip and on one fader. So like bass mic and bass DI, if you really ever time aligns those anyway. Things like that. Then down here, you've got your high pass filter, phase or polarity, pre and post EQ inserts, and then you get down to your subgroups. So an interesting thing about the subgroups is you don't assign specifically you don't just push a button and you're in group 1. You've got what would be group 9 on the analog gamble here, which is just straight to left, right. And then you've got here's subgroup 1. So you can send different than unity gain levels. So you can select how much level you want to send into that group instead of just on or off, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then over here, you've got your matrices, 8 stereo matrices, 8 stereo subgroups. All of these things have insert points. matrices. Here's how you can route the subgroups to the matrices. And then you've got EQ, full parametric EQ on every matrix out.
Are you limited to only 8?
It's 8
Eight
stereo,
what?
so it's 16 really.
Subgroups.
Yeah, 8 what? There's
Yeah.
8 stereo groups and 8 stereo matrices.
Well,
So,
Michael,
yeah, I mean, that's what it has.
is 25 years old. I mean, this was way. It's so avant-garde for its time. It's it's amazing.
No one
Actually,
had
Kurt,
ever
I
even
saw
heard of
this
a digital console. Yeah.
I was going to say, Kurt, I saw the Squeeze play in 1985. I was front of house for the Squeeze, and they played SNL, and I wasn't allowed to touch that console. I just had to
It would have been
say,
later than 85, but it
okay,
was
well, 80,
the SNL console. It would have been like early 90s.
88.
No,
90.
more like 91, 92. Something.
Yeah, well, it could be. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But
I'm old.
yeah, this was the house console at SNL for 10 years.
Right.
So all those
right.
shows you heard in the 90s when you watched SNL, they were all mixed on this.
Yeah,
And,
you weren't allowed to touch it.
No.
You just had to say vocal, stage left, well, solo, stage right, guitar.
Yeah. It also was at Carnegie Hall as their house desk, and then it did string cheese incident and widespread, or not widespread, Humphreys McGee tours.
Yeah.
And it's been sitting in a church for almost 20 years now. So I've got it. It's mint. It's in like fantastic shape, and it sounds amazing.
Well,
Yeah,
it sounds like you're trying to shoot the moon with gambles. You're trying to get every gamble ever made, so you can, So if anybody needs to use a gamble to mix, they've got to go to Point Source Audio. I love it. Great idea.
No, Derek's got quite a few. So I'm catching up. Derek has a lot of the older ones, like HC40s and these monitor consoles and stuff. I don't have any monitor consoles yet. I don't really need
but
one.
You do have the Purdue 32, which is perfect for.
I have the Purdue 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the other room right now. We're working on we're rebuilding an interface for it, so that the tie line thing is a little more correctly thought out. We were using one that we got from somebody else, but my guy Ben is over there right now rebuilding.
Do you think you'd ever take this to Ben?
If I can get the hard drive in here is the only thing about it that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
This I can just replace the external computer with their Windows machine. It doesn't matter. That's fine.
Right.
There's no risk involved there. This hard drive is the one that I'm concerned about. If it were to fail,
right. Well, I
it'd be
think you could
unrecoverable.
probably clone that to another one. There's cloning stuff that you can use.
Oh, we can clone the image. It's whether we can mount a new hard drive. We pulled the card, and it's a very normal looking commercially available hard drive.
Right.
As far as the form factor and the size, but we have to be very careful about how we removed this one and actually connected the other one, because if there's something that we don't catch, then we could blow it up, and if we blow it up, there are no more.
Right.
So that's it.
Yeah. So
it's stayed in
Seattle for the it'd be great is that award show you do every year at Paul Allen's place. Wouldn't it be great to come in with that award show?
I probably will. That'll be the Shakedown Cruise.
Yeah.
When did that come out? What year did they build that?
I think he introduced it at NAMM, the 40 channel, in like 90, 91.
Okay, so that was after the Harrison Alive, and it was before the Broadway and the what was the other one? Oh, the Showco Superboard, because that was mid-90s or early 90s, because all of them were all in that same category of digital control of analog circuits. And then,
Yeah, this was in development while the EX was still being produced, so they kind of overlap a little bit, but it didn't come out until Crest stopped making the EX.
yep. So this was a Crest
The-
build, but it was
No, this is number one.
Yeah.
This was built by Jim by hand in Tahoe and in his shop.
Okay.
Crest never had anything to do with these. Crest
Oh,
stopped
okay,
making
I
the
see.
EXs right around the time that this was finishing development. It runs
Okay.
on VAX is what the protocol, and then in here there's a Windows NT server in here. So all of this control software happens out here, and then it just talks via this Ethernet port to
That was
the server in there.
like 93 or 94.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know exactly, but it's early 90s.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was with a company in South Florida and we bought a couple of the Crash CXs in that time frame.
Yeah, they were still making these ones here, that I restored a bunch. This is the Rush one. That's next.
Yep.
But yeah, there was a little overlap, but this is all built by hand by Jim and a couple other people down in there's 10 total, 360s, 2 are in Trinidad in the studio, and then this one, and then there's a couple of 40s, a 24 and a 12. That's it.
Mhm. And in his later years, didn't he go for I thought he called it the DCX as well, but maybe he had a different nomenclature for it, which it was a digital console with no surface,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. This is the console with no surface. This stuff is all added later. He didn't want you to have any of this. He just wanted you to mix on a laptop or a touchscreen. And so we're going to play with the interface a little bit. I'm not fond of this at all. But when this came out, this was it. Now, with all the proliferation of all the DAWs and everything, there are all kinds of continuous controller platforms available. Which this runs on CC messages, MIDI.
Right.
And so, this was the only game in town. Now there are 100 games in town. Everybody from Behringer to SSL makes a modular universal control surface. So we may do something. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go there, but we may.
No. I was pointing that out, Kurt.
Yeah. But we may try to come up with a combination of some tactile faders from like SSL or something and touchscreens, and maybe even multiple sets of touchscreens. So there's a set of touchscreens down here that's faders, and a set of touchscreens up here that does, the other things.
Well, you're going to go into competition with Robert?
The number of screens? Yes, very likely.
Very good.
I may rapidly close in on Robert.
Well, I'll share this with your Gamble group so they can get to see what you're working on.
Fire off what screen you're looking at. What?
Very cool, man. Very, very cool. I said I'll share this with your Gamble group so that they can watch the video as well.
It's all, if you want.
Very cool, Kurt. I got to come I definitely got to make it to the Northwest.
Touch screens are scary though, Kurt, because you can get a bug come along and be attracted to the screen and start firing shit off. I've had it happen.
You know what? I shut all my touch screens off. I do everything with a mouse because I've bumped it too many times and had it do things that I didn't want it to do.
Yep.
Well, it's funny for an old analog fan like me, when I do mix on digital or when I've mixed on profile, I gravitated towards mixing with the mouse. I really didn't reach for the knobs hardly ever. The faders, yes, but adjusting like thresholds and gate, all that, I did all that with the mouse.
Yeah, I love the touch and turns,
Back in the day, did anybody ever have a demo from Al Nichols?
Nope, not
Fat
me.
Fingers. The minus XL8 came out and he was always banging on the touchscreen, the fat fingers trying to make it go. And it's just he was a mess.
I always have that issue with the Yamaha console. So I have these little pens with the little, this is what I use because my fingers are weird when it comes to that.
Towards the end, Al Nichols worked for me. He was in Vegas, so I gave him a job. He was a salesman for us.
Wow.
What a salesman.
What a salesman is correct in his prime.
That's the
Well,
Purdue 32.
the best sales pitch
Oh
was-
yes, that's man. If I had the money, I'd lease it from you until my death.
Just come out here and do a gig.
All right, all right, all right.
Which one, Greg? Which one, Greg?
32. The Purdue 32. 32 channels is enough for me. You know, to do I would do tribute bands with a 32 channel desk, and then I throw 2 autos and 2 AC6s aside. You know, Kurt may not like that, you know, but hey, you know, 8 boxes to roll in, the Purdue 32, and you know, a double side rack. You know, you're kicking butt. You know,
Not if you're doing a Leonard Skinner tribute, you won't.
yeah. No, but I could do 32 channels with a Tom Petty tribute. But don't tell Robert that I work with a Tom Petty tribute, because he'll never speak to me again.
Well,
Oh, he will speak to you.
you'd take a double that to do a Allman Brothers tribute band.
Yeah, you're right there. 2 drum kits. I mean, I did, who was it? Molly Hatchet for a while when they were touring in the Midwest. And you know, they had 32 channels analog touring. And, you know, they'd be coming in the clubs because they had 2 drummers, and a horn section, you know, plus pedal, plus 3 guitars. I mean, it was nuts.
Well, Dark Star Orchestra is touring with a EX. I just rebuilt it for him, and they fit the whole band on there. 2 drummers, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to do his walk-in music on insert returns, and then remember to turn them off because he's out of channels. But he makes it.
Yeah. Well, 56 channels is, you know, that's a whole nother ball game. I can't see going in the Floribama with an EX56.
No.
You know.
But with the DCX, that whole rack could live on stage, and you can mix the whole thing on an iPad or a tablet and have a little rack with 3 or 4 effects units in it, and that's all you'd have in front of house.
Yeah, I want faders. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, me too. But
yeah.
Hey, well,
me too,
you can have them. You could all have them. It comes with the package. There you go. Hey,
Dude,
listen, we've been
that.
on for an hour. We've been on for an hour on the air. And, you know, if anybody has anything else they want to say that they want the social media world to know, now would be the time.
Well, pay attention to that female Tour de France. You know, the aerodynamics are in play. So
I prefer women without padded bras, to be blunt with you, but that's a personal opinion. You know, do your own research.
Whoever wins, they got to check out the bras and make sure they're not like, you know.
That's
Is
it.
that like
You
the
remember
commercial-
Queen did those
commercial-
things with that? You remember the band Queen? They had that album with all the women on the bicycles without clothes, you know. And the promotion was for the record company. They were giving away the seats from the bicycle. For the
I
Oh my
remember
God.
and there was a band in Nashville years ago, back in the 70s, and their debut album's called Best of Tennessee Pulley-Bone, Greatest Hits of Tennessee Pulley-Bone. It was basically a set of on the front, and that was it.
Oh my goodness.
So the first album was Greatest Hits.
Unbelievable. How did they get away with that in the South? Unbelievable. How did they do that?
Yeah, they
Anyway,
couldn't play in Memphis. No. Yeah.
Hey,
I
Greg,
couldn't have picked a better name for the show this
Michael.
week. Catharsis. Catharsis time with thinking out loud with friends.
All right.
So,
Michael, what did you want?
I had to fit 2 H3000s in Floribama back in
Lord.
early 2000s.
Inside?
Yep.
Well, you're a better man than I.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I was cussing all day.
Yeah.
eh. Well, boys and girls and children of all ages, I want to thank you all for watching Thinking Out Loud with Friends. Next week, we have Tom Durr from Allen and Heath, so get your questions ready now. He'll answer any question you have regarding Allen and Heath, and maybe some from his career, because he's been around a long time. very successful gentleman, and we are and what a nice guy too. We're really looking to have him. I want to thank Chris Stevens for last week with Stage Tech, and if you haven't watched the show, you should. If you haven't given us a thumbs up already, you should do that as well. Remember to share the show. I'll be doing that for sure. What else? Oh yes, I want to congratulate those people that were involved with the Shawshank Redemption. It's their 30th anniversary. If you haven't seen that movie, you owe it to yourself to watch it. It's really a cool thing. Yeah, Shawshank Redemption.
Not the Shawshank Redemption. That's what I thought you said. So
yeah, no, the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Good-
yeah.
good
It
movie.
sounded like something going on at Rock Nashville.
Yeah, it's one of the most. I guess it's one of the most popular classics. In the beginning, it kind of bombed in the box office, but now it's a classic. Everybody loves it, and it's their 30th anniversary. So, with that in mind, and all I could say is I've got some big news coming up next week as well. So tune in so you can get the big news. Watch Tom Durr. After that, we have Mike Medding coming in on the 9th, and we have some other special guests with Straight from the Source, which we're still going to be doing because it's been so successful. I mean, the Scoville show was amazing. If you haven't watched that, that's really cool too. Anyway, we've had some good shows, and I want to thank you for your support because you make it happen. Have a great week, everybody. Remember, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place, and